Hey guys, welcome back. Again, Micheal Huggins here. I'm excited to share the follow-up video. There's a lot of stuff that you need to be informed of as far as how to pay for your training, what else is involved, our 3-step phase process to get you into your first deal, and a few other things, some good tips and tricks on how to build a solid business from the ground up, even if you've never done it before and are on a budget. We can show you exactly how to do that. That's what this video is designed to do. So stay tuned. I got some really good nuggets for you. Let's get these out of the way real quick. First is I'm an independent marketing affiliate with Renatus. So what that means is I'm a part of the expansion team. I help find new students. Also, I'm not a CPA. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a licensed professional in that regard. So if anything comes out of my mouth as far as financial advice, just know that it's not financial advice. It's on you to go and get your specific tax and legal counsel. And make sure they're competent in their area, okay? Perfect. All right, and then one last thing is if you do decide to move forward with Renatus and make a buying decision, great news is someone who referred you is going to get paid. That's exciting stuff, right? Yay for capitalism. So let's keep this stuff going. Exciting to have you guys involved. One of the things is you can take as many screenshots and as many notes as you want to. Okay, this stuff is all about learning, retaining this information, which we want you to do. However, it's just not yours to reproduce. This is intellectual property, so keep that in mind as we're moving forward with this. Jumping into a quick review of the 5 pillars. All 5 of these pillars have to be in place for you to hit the financial goals that you want. And then with those financial goals, we hit our time goals and where we get to spend our time and with whom. So those 5 pillars are business, taxes, banking, real estate, and education. Okay, keep that in the forefront of your mind. What we're going to do for the rest of this video is we're going to go over some frequently asked questions and some should ask questions, some questions you might not have thought to ask. We're going to go over a simple 3-phase plan, stuff for you to go step by step, easy to follow blueprint. Again, we know you're busy, we're all busy, but how do we fit this into our busy schedule? I'll show you how to do that. Some additional ways of finding money. I know some of you are like, Mike, I'd totally, absolutely join the program if I knew where to find the money. So we're going to cover that as well. And some tips on how to start a business. We're going to give you 8 tips of what to do when you're starting your business so you can get started on the right foot and start powerfully, creating the momentum that you need. We'll do a little demo with the software so you can see how easy it is to find deals from the comfort of your home, and then jump into some of the actual training that Renatus provides. So let's get into it. Here are some of the questions I constantly get, so let's go over these in a very easy to understand way. First thing is, people always ask me, Michael, when will I make my money back? Well, there's a couple different ways we could answer this. One, it totally depends on how much money you're putting in. The other thing to ask is not when will I make my money back. That is a pretty weak question, in my opinion, because this is a very goal-oriented and life design type of program. When will I make my money back? Geez, that's like, for some of you, it could be your first month, some of you 6 months, some of you your first year. With the tax savings, the interest savings, and the multiple ways you can make money, it's very easily you make your money back. So that's not even a question. How do we get past that? What will I do my first year, my second year? So some of these questions need to be more intelligently designed, like what kind of support is included? Some people say, Michael, is this one of those things where I just get a set of videos and then you're out? Absolutely not. We actually have, believe it or not, we have more support than you could take advantage of. With all the calls, the webinars, the videos, the workbooks, the study groups, the workshops, the intensives, the live streams. There's actually more than you could take advantage of. So we'll get into a little bit more of that support as we continue. Sometimes people ask me, hey Michael, do I need to watch all of my classes before I do a deal? Now, as far as watching all of your essentials classes, I highly recommend that. With our entire library, it's not necessary. Just as we go through our 3-phase plan, you'll see. But it does not take very long to get started. Within 2 weeks of applying some of this information, you could start getting measurable results. Within 2 weeks. It's incredible. So we'll show you how that works. Some people are asking, how long do I have access to the training? Great news. It's a lifetime membership. Now, this is complimentary, and I'll explain that. But basically, your program's for a year. Once that year is up, now you have lifetime membership. As long as you're in good standing with the company, that will be continued add-on and support for you. Now, some people are going to ask, what if my enroller lives out of state? I want to get connected with people in my area. What if they live out of state? What changes for me? You know what changes for you? Nothing. The beauty of the program is you're going to be trained as an independent real estate investor. You're not going to be dependent on whoever enrolled you or anything like that. So the beauty of the program makes you where we could put you in any city, anywhere within 30 days, you could be doing deals because of how we're going to be equipping you through our program. So as far as who enrolls you and where they live, doesn't matter. Now some people ask, what order should I watch my classes? Here's what I tell people. Watch whatever classes are going to make the biggest impact on you right now. Are you dealing with a tax issue? Great, jump into tax classes. If you're dealing with a credit or a banking issue, jump into those classes. Or what if you're dealing with a retirement account? You need to roll it over or put it to work. Then you jump into those retirement account classes right away. Whatever's going to have the biggest impact on your life, that's what you get started with. Now here is a very powerful and intelligently designed question. What is possible if I stay focused on this program for 5 years? What's possible? Holy cow, let's look around. There's dozens and hundreds, and I bet if we spent the time, find thousands of testimonials of people who stuck around for 5 years and what that's like for them. So here's something you can expect. Lifelong friendship, ongoing support, gaining a solid foundation of where you want to go, seeing a clear vision of how you're going to support your family, create this legacy. Here's what we know. People will overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 5 years. So if you actually decide, I'm going to do a career change, I'm going to get into real estate investing for good so I can change my financial situation, and you make a decision that this is going to be a career change, then who knows where you'll go. I've been able to double my income year after year after year. So what are you capable of? But let's make sure we're asking questions like that. Not necessarily, when will I make my money back? It's very surface. And if you stick with it, 20 grand is 25 grand, easily make your money back. Now, we have a few tips for starting your business. A few things to keep in mind if you're brand new or you're seasoned and this is another business you're starting. Either way, keep these things in mind, step by step. First is self-awareness. Where do you want to go with this program? What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? What situation are you in right now? This self-awareness. Okay, then the next question, or the next step in building a solid business is your vision or your mission statement. Right? Why does your real estate company exist? Who are you here to serve? Okay, then the next thing is setting some big goals, not some small regular goals. We're talking life-changing, enormous, audacious, maybe even intimidating goals. Set some really big goals for yourself. Then, step 4 is going to be create a vision board. Our brains, our minds think in pictures. So the more pictures you have around the reality you want to create, the faster you're going to hit your goals. So make a vision board somewhere in your house, in your bathroom, somewhere where you could see it on a regular daily basis about what you want your business and your life to turn into. Step 5 is going to be creating a clear strategy of how you're going to get there, how many hours of class, what events you're going to attend, when you're going to start making your offers, what kind of structure you're going to set up. Then step 6 is going to be what is your daily action plan and your monthly action plan. And stick with that. Step 7 is getting this feel-good energy that's going into your business. Okay, it's not always just functional step-by-step stuff. There is this feel and emotion and power behind your business that's more than just the surface stuff. And then step 8 is reflect and celebrate. Now, you have made a huge journey. Remember where you were a year ago, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, a month ago, a week, now. Reflect on all of that, and then continue to improve your plan. And a major key is celebrating your progress, okay? There's a saying in our community. It says, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated, right? How often are you celebrated when you go to your job? When you walk into work, are they celebrating you or are they just tolerating you? Right? The fact is, most people are just being tolerated. Join our community and we'll celebrate your progress, right? In every capacity, not just in business, but in life, in relationships, in your health. There's something to celebrate. So stay focused on that. Okay, those are 8 major tips for you. Now, as far as our 3-phase plan for when you get started with our Renatus training and how we start to move you forward, first step is, in phase 1, you're going to go through your essentials training. This is all those keep your money classes that we talked about with credit, banking, taxes, retirement accounts. We talked about all those keep your money strategies. That's all going to be in your essentials. You got to start with that right away. And like I said, within 2 weeks, you start applying some of this stuff, you'll start to see results. So stay focused on that. Each class, one of the reasons I really love Renatus and how serious they take the training is each class has a post-assessment. So you'll be taking that, you'll be measuring your progress, taking all your post-assessments. You'll jump into the essentials. So speaking of the essentials, let's jump into that right now. Okay, we're going to log into our website here, and then we are going to pull up my account. So here you can see I'm logged in. Now, a couple quick things about this. I'm going to just give you some orientation here. The first thing that's going to pop up here is what's called generally speaking. Now, this is a sign that you're in good hands, okay? The CEO has a major commitment to your guys' results. So he's always wondering, what do you guys need? What else can give you that edge? What questions do you have? So these questions we submitted, and they're direct from the CEO to us on a weekly basis, telling us where our mindset needs to be, where our skill set needs to be, where our businesses should be to keep hitting our dreams, hitting our goals, and moving forward. So generally speaking, if there's a new video, definitely watch that. Then the next section is going to be our reviews. Now, as students progress and they're going through it, we have them do 6-month reviews, 1-year reviews, 2-year reviews, depending on where we find them. And you start to see how different people around the country are getting their results. So always watch those. Then we have some different opportunity webinars that will be announced, so be sure to plug in. There's a ton of announcements here. This is your dashboard. This is where all the magic happens, okay? Then, of course, we have our 5-star winner circle, and we have leaderboards and different area contests that we're really excited to stay in touch with. There's a lot of momentum that comes from those, so pay attention to that. And then our weekly top 10. There are team members and there are markets out there that are doing huge things to impact their students and their community members, and so we get acknowledge them over here. Now, over here on the left-hand side, we're going to click on our education. And now, there's a lot of things to go through, but what we're going to do right now is we're just going to jump into the course library, click on our essentials, and now we're going to go through the Keep Your Money classes, or the essentials, what you need to know, how to do your marketing. Okay, so we have the real estate marketing class, how to get the deals coming to you, not so that you don't have to go and spend all this extra time driving through neighborhoods, trying to knock on vacant doors, things like that take a lot of time. Instead, take the marketing class and see how these deals can come to you. Then we have the Real Estate Foundations class. Now, some interesting things about this class is I meet a lot of people, and this might be you watching the video now, where you have 5, 10, maybe even 20 years of experience in real estate sales or marketing or something like that. It is different than real estate investing, okay? You're going to have to start at the foundation when it comes to investing. There are some things that agents and brokers and title people and lawyers and CPAs, they're not taught about investing. So take your investing foundations class, that we have the right footing for what it's like to be the CEO of a real estate investing business, not just have a real estate investing skill. It's different, okay? Then we're going to get into our tax and legal classes, and how big of an impact that's going to be on your life depends on where you're at. Some of you have major tax challenges and you're looking at huge tax bills, and some of you are just getting started, and so there's some easy to follow steps that you'll be taking in your tax classes. Then we get into understanding credit. Then we get into our Deal of the Decade classes. You know, there's a lot of people who their first deal ends up not being such a good deal because they feel pressured into something, right? They're getting new, they're new into this industry, and someone says, hey, we got this deal and you got to act fast. Hurry, hurry, hurry. No time to do due diligence. It's such a killer deal though. Who cares? No time for review. If that comes your way, hit the brakes, take a step back, and don't rush into things, okay? There's a saying here, the deal of the decade. This is what people pressure. Hey, the deal of the decade. Here's what we know. With our strategies, with our information, with our techniques, the deal of the decade comes about once a week. There's so many deals out there that could drastically change your life. You don't need to be rushed or pressured into something. So always do your reviews, because the deal of the decade does come around about once a week when you know what we know. So jump into that class here by Chris Albin. By the way, Chris Albin built a portfolio of several hundred rental properties on a school teacher salary. When he started, he was a high school teacher teaching English. And how he built his portfolio, you got to jump into the classes to see. But it doesn't matter what your income is, doesn't matter what your background is. When you follow the blueprint, the beauty of the program is you will get your results. Okay, then we'll get into velocity banking. Now, you saw a 30-minute-ish presentation of velocity banking, but when you have this class, you have 8 hours of solid training on the do's, the don'ts, the built-in spreadsheets when you're driving around your town. Be taking the audio versions of these classes, okay? There's a principle in how to use your car, how to use the time in your car. Poor people, average earning people, frustrated people, you know what they use their time in their car for? Radio, CDs, right? The same, who listens to CDs anymore? But radio or just music, the same thing over and over and over, right? But wealthy people, people in charge of their lives, people taking action, they're not doing that. They're listening to their classes, they're listening to audiobooks, they're listening to uplifting, inspiring information because they realize that whatever goes in their head is stuff that they can use to make with their life. If you keep listening to the same song 100 times, your life isn't going to change. So change what you're doing in your car. Start putting these classes coming through your speakers. Okay, have it a university on wheels. Take advantage of this time. The technology is here, just you need to make that decision. At the end of the day, there's 2 ways to get rich. That's it. Either don't do what poor people are doing, which I knew because that's where I came from, or do what rich people do what wealthy people do. And wealthy people spend their time in their car getting new information. Think about it. If you did that, if you committed to that, every time you arrived somewhere, you'd be smarter. What a reputation to have. So take these classes, absorb them. This is your essentials. This is the keep your money classes. Then we get into self-directed IRAs. Some of you will be rolling over accounts. Some of you will be partnering with retirement accounts to do your deals. So you must understand and do these deals in a legal fashion. No sideways pizza. Now, what do I mean by sideways pizza? Here's what I mean. If you're doing a deal, let's say you need $1 million for your deal, and you go and raise this capital, but you don't do it the legal way that's taught, it could be like, let's say you run a stop sign. Can you say, oh, sorry, I didn't know? No, you still get the ticket for running a stop sign, right? Well, here in the real estate world, if you're raising capital and you do it the wrong way, you could go to jail. Now, when you go to jail, when I come visit you, I'll bring you a pizza. But if you're behind bars and I'm trying to get you this pizza, what do I have to do to get it to you? I got to turn the pizza. As soon as we turn the pizza, what happens to it? The whole thing is ruined. So at the end of the day, no sideways pizza. Just follow the rules, follow the laws. Okay, these classes are taught by CPAs, by lawyers, by brokers, by licensed professionals to teach you exactly what to do so you can hit your goals, hit your dreams, hit your numbers, and you can rest, have a peace of mind knowing that you're doing it right, you're doing it legally. So we'll jump into your essentials classes here. You take all the pre-tests, all the post-tests, and then you jump into your weekly webinars. Now, let's jump back to the PowerPoint here. So this is your essentials. Now, let's watch one of these classes.
Now, tax benefits, the sexy part. Oh, love the tax benefits. Because rentals lose money on paper. Rentals lose money on paper. What? Hold it. I'm covering my direct expenses. Mark, you want me to lose money? Why do rentals lose money on paper? What's the big deduction? And it's a big D, and I don't mean Dallas. Depreciation. Depreciation. Now hold it, Mark. I want the property to appreciate. What the crap is depreciation? Depreciation is the tax concept of writing off the building over time. And when you buy a residential rental, you get to write it off over time, even though the bank's money paid for 90% of it. So, if you buy a rental, how many years do you have to write it off over? 27 and a half. Good job. So 27 and a half is how many you write that property off over time. And so now, wouldn't it be great if you could write off the interest the tenant's paying? But you didn't pay it, so you don't get to write it off, right? False. Who gets to write off the interest? You do, because you own the property. So even though the tenant paid the interest for you, because when you're a renter, do you get a write-off? No. When you're the landlord, you get the write-off. So you're writing off depreciation, interest, property taxes, insurance, cell phone, dining, entertainment, home office, PDA's laptop, travel to go check on it, the kids. Oh my gosh, my rental's losing money on paper, even though it's cash flowing. This is crazy. So let's say I'll throw this out. This year, we're going to do over 5,000 rental properties for clients on tax returns, probably more. So many of our rentals own rentals, and so many of our clients own rentals and multiple rentals. Do you know what the average is for our firm is between $6,000 to $8,000? They lose $6,000 to $8,000 on paper, every rental, even though it's cash flowing. So let's go conservative. So let's say you've got $6,000 a year in losses. Look what happened. Above the line, below the line. You've got rental losses that you get to deduct against your day job, your W-2, so your AGI goes down. If your AGI goes down, what happens to your tax bill? It goes down. And it goes down by the percentage of your tax rate. So if you're in a 20% Fed and 5% state, that's 25%. If I'm at 6,000, man, I'll go 30%. Let's go 25 Fed, 5 state, just to keep my math here. You could do a 30% tax benefit for every loss. So you're saving $2,000 in taxes. See what happens? Your AGI went down by 6. You're in a 30% bracket. Your tax bill went down by $2,000. I just saved taxes. I pay less taxes by buying a rental. So what's my ROI? I invested 10. I made another 2. I got a 20% benefit in this quadrant. Now, cash flow. Anybody have a rental that cash flows out there? We do? This is crazy. Rentals cash flow? Now, do you pay taxes on that cash flow? No. Oh my gosh. She's on the front row. Just grab her on the way out. The IRS police are going to get you. Holy, this is crazy. So you cash flow a property, but you don't pay tax on it because taxes are rent minus all your write-offs. And when we're writing off cell phone, travel, dining, entertainment, depreciation, your rental is going to lose money even though you're making cash flow. You're making cash flow to pay for personal conversion expenses like your cell phone, which you're going to pay for anyway. So if I can just cash flow $100 a month, just $100 a month of cash flow on this little rental, just 100. Let's say 90. Let's say $1,000 a year. I cash flow that I didn't have before. It's cash flow that I put in my pocket to pay for crap I was going to pay for anyway. And I was going to go visit grandma, but now I'm going to write it off on my way because I'm going to buy a rental near grandma. If I can make $1,000 in cash flow, what's my ROI in this quadrant? 10%. So if my math works out here, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 10, 100%. I got 100% return on this cute little rental. Conservative example. And if you go, well, Mark, that's crazy. You can't make 100% return on a rental every time. Okay, fair enough. Let's cut it in half. Maybe 50%. Is your stockbroker getting you 50% in your IRA or mutual funds? So are they kicking butt? Right? 50%? Man, your stockbroker's thrilled to tell you 10%, right? You're doing 50%. Do you think buying one rental a year might start to add up to some major cash flow benefits? Is this crazy? I've said this example before, I apologize, but I've got this cute little couple in Oklahoma. Marge and, I want to say his first name's Dale, or I'll say Dale. So Marge and Dale, and I was once giving a workshop down in Texas, and she even drove all the way to Texas to meet me, brought me some homemade granola. She's like, Mark, I made you some granola. And I was like, Mark, take it. Okay, this couple, they're in their 70s now. They've got, 36 rentals, 36 rental properties. She was a school teacher, and he was a contractor. And for their life, they bought one little rental every year. Now they're in their 70s, and they've got $13,000 a month in cash flow from their rentals. Do you think they're stressed about retirement when the 60 and over and unemployed don't know what to do? $13,000 a month in cash flow. They'll lose their Social Security check and be like, I don't know where it is, Marge. I don't know. Just forget about it. We don't need it anyway. It's crazy. So the other day, this is like 6 months ago, they called me up and they're like, Mark, I get on my conference call and it's Marge. And I'm like, hey, Marge, hey, how's it going? She goes, let me get Dale on the line. Let me get Dale. And so I'm like, okay. So Dale gets on, hey, Mark, how's it going? I'm like, good. How are you guys doing? And she goes, I'm like, what are you guys doing? They've got a Series LLC with 6 subs and we've got everything dialed in. It's rocking. And I go, what are you guys doing? And Dale's like, we're buying another rental. I'm like, Dale, what are you doing? You should be selling a rental and going on a cruise, taking the kids somewhere. What are you doing? You guys are too old to buy more rentals. Mark, what are you crazy? We're going to keep buying rentals till the day we die. Woohoo! You know, I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. And he goes, Mark, this is the best. You wouldn't believe it. It's a storage unit, and it's right by the freeway, and there's a billboard, and I'm going to make $1,000 a month on this billboard. I already got a guy lined up to rent it. It's going to be amazing. It blows my mind. It's already cash flowing. Oh my gosh. And he's going off, and I'm like, all right. And they're just high on life. They're just loving it. And they're building up this rental portfolio. And they've got purpose, they've got a plan, and they're just, and this is what, how would it feel if you would have been buying, you in the room and me, if we were buying one rental a year for the last 10 years, and we were sitting on 10 rentals at cash flow? Do you think our life would be a little different right now? Yeah, well, it can be in 10 years from now. And it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Don't go out and try to buy 10 rentals this year. Just buy one. And set the goal and stay committed. 10 rentals 10 years from now. Part of your 10-year plan? Possible? It's possible. And you're here at Renatus getting the education you need to do it. Unbelievable, right?
Okay, so now you've seen what our Essentials has to offer. It is a bargain. Steal of a deal. When I've gone around the country and seen other different training programs, and I see what's being offered and for the price, we are absolutely the best. And so just a quick recap. We have the wealth management classes, and then we have the real estate classes. You need to go through all 10 of those, plus your intro class. The sooner, the better. Now, some people ask me, if I were to do an hour a day, how long would it take? And I'd say anywhere between 1 to 2 months. There's a feature in the training where you can speed up the training. Just like in your audiobooks, you can listen to them a little bit faster. Same with the classes. So that's what I do. I watch them a little bit faster, right? Technology, we can leverage that. So anywhere from 1 to 2 months, you will be through your Essentials if you do about an hour a day. This is easy to do also because you can do that hour in your car while you're commuting, while you're driving around, running your errands, paying the bills, doing whatever you need to do. Instead of the radio, turn that off. You already heard that song, okay? And start putting this new millionaire knowledge into your head. You got to get it. Like I said, it's over 60 hours of training, plus you get weekly group coaching. So put it on your calendar. Once a week, you're on the class, you're doing it, you're listening to the lesson, you're asking your questions, you're getting the Q&A stuff that you need, staying involved. It's a major key to your success. That's all going to be in phase 1. Now, phase 2 is where we get into an AIT path. AIT stands for Accelerated Investor Training. This is an accelerated path. This is not like traditional academic college where, you know, a bachelor's degree, they're going to stretch it out and make it take 4 years, and they can charge you for 4 years of training. And no, it's not like that at all. Here, we have this very accelerated training, okay? We know what you're capable of. We've done this for years, so we know what our students are capable of, and we know how quick you need a result. So there's no fluff. There's no delaying this. Let's jump into it. It's an accelerated investor training. And there are going to be some post-tests as well for you to take. Now, you're going to have to pick which one. You got to pick one at first so you can start doing your deal. Okay? So what are you going to do? Are you going to do fix and flips? Are you going to do rentals? Are you going to do lease options? Are you going to do multifamily? Are you going to get into commercial? Now, remember, there's also combinations of all these strategies too. There's also the paper side of real estate investing, being your own bank, dealing with tax liens, dealing with tax deeds, and being able to do your real estate without having to actually touch a physical piece of real estate. There's a whole other side to banking. Now, we also have wholesaling and lease options and being able to control properties without necessarily owning them. What strategies do you want to get in on? Short sales and foreclosures is another great way to build up a huge portfolio, and then accelerating your wealth and managing your business and being able to retire in real estate. There is a lot being offered here because we know what it takes to have a portfolio and a legacy that's going to last for generations. It does take some work, all right? All you got to do is follow our blueprint. Now, as far as our packages are being offered, the top tier, the best lifetime membership with everything, one-on-one coaching, all the websites, all the software, everything that you can handle, all the documents, everything that you need is only $25,000. That's it. Compared to a bachelor's degree, master's degree, this is a bargain. And like I said, inside of 2 weeks, if you start following it, you can start getting some results. So $25,000 Now, they do offer some promos and stuff, so we'll get into what that means. But again, when you start to think about the price versus the value, it's so obvious. Now, some people think, wow, 25 grand, man, that's a lot of money. And again, I thought that same thing. Okay, when I was working at the lube center, when I was working at the tire center, both of those jobs barely paid me 25 grand a year. And I'm sitting here listening to a program being offered, it's 25 grand. So I was struggling to get my mind around this. How on earth am I going to pay for this? And I was a little intimidated by the price, I'm not going to lie. But my mentor offered me a perspective. Now I will offer that to you. My question to you is, if you think 25 grand is a lot of money, how long do you want to be thinking 25 grand is a lot of money? If you want to make millions, it will take years, but you're aspiring for this kind of income. Yet, on the other hand, you say 25 grand is a lot of money, but you want to make millions. So is millions a lot or is 25 grand a lot? We got to clean up the contradiction in our head. 25 grand is just 25 grand. It's the cost of doing business. But the value you get, you will happily pay more once you understood everything that's coming your way. Now, as far as our complimentary lifetime access, let's break that down real quick. So lifetime means the life of our website, the life of the company. Our website's been active since January 1st, 2011. And then what complimentary means is once your 12-month redemption period is up, corporate may grant access to you as long as you're in good standing with the company. Good standing means there are no complaints, you're not doing anything that is harming the company. So as long as you're falling in line with that, then you'll get all the classes you've bought now for life, as well as, and here's the major thing, any new classes that come out. That's huge. The value that comes from that, all the new classes that come out, you don't have to pay for. So that's what complimentary lifetime access means. It's a major key. Now, there's the help that Renatus provides, and then there's going to be the help that the communities provide. So to be clear, Renatus is going to provide live, online, and streamed classes. Okay, so you can stream the classes, the recorded classes 24/7. And then on a regular basis, they also stream new classes they'll be adding to the curriculum, and you can log in and watch those too. You do get one-on-one coaching. That's huge. Being able to sit down with a coach that's dedicated to your time, to your efforts, to your goals, and can help you design a blueprint. You get 6 one-on-one sessions with the corporate coach. Okay, that's above and beyond the people who've sent you these videos and helping you get involved. They'll help you too, but you get a corporate coach to help you with your real estate. Then you also get weekly lifetime group coaching also, which is huge. The lessons, the Q&A, the interaction, every single week. It's going to be helping you move your business further and further along so you start hitting your goals. And then live customer support. There's the chat, there's the emails, there's the call-in. It's huge. So take advantage of all that stuff. Okay? Now that's going to be inside your phase 2. Pick an AIT class, watch it from beginning to end. Decide what you're going to do, what's going to be the biggest impact for your family, take those tests, and next is going to be the application, right? It's the mindset, it's the skill set. Now, application. Let's start acting on what we're doing. Let's start taking our lessons and putting them into real life. So one of the easiest ways to do that is using our software. So remember, the software is an additional cost. It's only $125 a month. Now you do get a free month, and if you look at it for the whole year, you're looking at about $1,500. Okay, it is a tax write-off, so you'll be keeping those costs, and you'll be keeping your organized expenses so that at the end of the year you can write them all off. And again, you'll be learning that in the first week of taking this training. But let's jump into some of this Renatus iOS. This is the premier real estate investing software. If you tried to piece everything together, you'd spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get access to what Renatus iOS provides. So there's so much more, and we're going to dive into a lot of what they have to offer in a separate video. But I did just want to kind of give you this demo here of what's being offered. All you need is to know what kind of real estate you want to get into. So here I am logged in, and what I'll do is I'll first come into the lead flow, and I'll go into the lead pipes. What kind of real estate do I want to be working on? So one thing that I've noticed in my area is absentee owners are pretty prevalent, and they have a lot of issues by being out of state. So I'm going to just pick my city here. We're going to go look at Denver real quick. Now in our searches, Right now, without any filtering, just in Denver, there's 141,000 properties and listings to take a look at. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to select, for me, I'm going to look at absentee owners that are upside down. So their motivation's a lot higher. And I'm going to look for, hopefully, vacant properties. So now they live out of state, they owe more than it's worth, and no one lives in it, so there's no cash flow right now. So if I go and look at those three, now I've narrowed it down to 103 results just in this part of Denver that's zoomed in here. Then I'll take it a little more advanced and I'll say I want to make sure it's single family homes. Okay, they could be absentee in-state or out-of-state and sold by individuals. Now I've narrowed it down to just 20. Now I can go in and I can click on, let's say I want to take a look at this house right here. Let's take a look at it. It tells me the owner's name. It tells me their mailing address. So here's their mailing address. And then here's the property address. So it tells me they do live in the state, but not at this address. Now I can get into the square footage when it was built. I can even get into the transaction history. Take a look at this. I can see when it was last sold for, to whom it was sold. If you look at the mortgage history, the warranty deeds, it's incredible. Now there's also some pre-foreclosure issues, the notice of default. All this information is going to help you when it comes time to deciding how to formulate your offer, negotiating with the owner, how you're going to hold it, because there's now a trend that you can see. All this stuff is going to play in big. Now what I could do with this property, let's say I want to save it here. Now it's added to my list of properties. Now I'll come in here and I can pick this property here. Now I'm going to check this, get into here. Now what do I want to do? Now I can decide if I want to do my deal analyzer or my repair estimator, and I can start estimating my repairs. Now what's cool is it can do a default estimator and just say based off the age, the square footage, this is what we recommend, but you can also get into dialing it in, yes and no's, and you can start to pick all the exterior stuff. Then you get into the interior stuff, and then you get into your staging. So as you walk through your properties, you start filling out what needs to be changed, and all you do is say, you know what we need here is it looks like we're going to need to do some painting on the interior. So it says, okay, well the square footage says 576, so yes, we're going to add that to my repair cost. Okay, it's incredibly intuitive, and there are other videos that are going to show you how to get into that. Then it is going to show you the deal analyzer. So what if we wanted to do a wholesale deal? What if we want to do a fix and flip? What if we wanted to do a buy and hold? Okay, so we can go through and it'll give us an analysis on 3 different types of strategies as well. All this software, all this information is going to give you the edge you need. Okay, there's a lot of wannabe real estate investors. There's a lot of wannabe entrepreneurs. We call them wantrepreneurs. They're not actually committed to creating success in their life. Using these tools, using our support, using the training, your success is practically guaranteed. So go through the analysis, punch in your numbers, it'll save it, it'll make it a nice one easy to read page document that you can send to your lenders, your partners, so that you look like a professional and all this stuff is organized for you. So it's huge. It's incredible. Then as you get into the websites, you will create your own lead capture websites. You'll create your own interactions with seller websites. It's huge. So there's a lot. There's a lot involved. And again, we're not going to spend a lot more time on it. Just know that this is going to give you a huge edge in your business. There's a phrase in our industry that says, the person with the most information wins. We want you to win and win in a big way. So you're going to use this, combined with the training and the websites, all this stuff. You're going to win. So now that you've seen a demo, there's a lot more to the iOS, but just know the leads that you're looking for are in your neighborhood. You don't need to be going around the country. Your back door, your backyard has the leads you're looking for. You just need some software to help you organize it. Okay? It's exciting stuff. So in your third phase, this is where you're going to start applying your education. You're going to pick your target properties, and you're going to start sending out marketing to them. You're going to start calling them. You might even go knock on the door and start a conversation with them. It's huge. Then you'll find your deal. You'll focus on that deal. You'll work it all the way through, documenting everything, and you're going to be really proud of your results. Now, one thing is you have a peace of mind when trying out Renatus' training. Set up your account, pay for it, get into the training, and you have a whole week to give it a try. Now, a lot of people are going to say, okay, Michael, that sounds great and all, but how do I pay for it? Where does this money come from? Right? I love it, but I clicked on your ad because I need money. Or I clicked on your ad because I'm ready to grow my money. So where are some other ways I can find the money so that I can get into your training and change my life? Well, let's jump into this. Okay, there's a few easy to find sources that if we just point them out to you and we make you think critically, at the end of the day, one of the skills you need is critical thinking for money flowing. Where is the money flowing? When I make this decision or 401k or this decision or that, where does the money flow? You need to know. So let's be thinking critically about this. I'm going to give you a few ideas. Let's hop over to the whiteboard here. So idea number one is going to be using your own cash, your own credit, your own personal resources. Now, what are the incredible things about this community? And as long as you continue to explore and investigate, you'll learn we are so unique, you're not going to find anyone else like us. One of the things that the CEO offers to students who are getting started in a big way is they offer a one-time cash discount for students that pay in full. And here's what they do. They'll take the price from $24,994 down to $19,994. So you will save $5,000 by paying in full using your own personal resources of cash or credit. Now, one of the other ideas that we're going to be offering is retirement accounts like 401ks. Now, every once in a while I'll ask people, do you know what 401k means? And I'll get some of the craziest answers. I'll get something like, oh, does that mean when you have $401,000 that you can retire? Or different things like that. And no, that's not the case at all. It's actually in the tax code. It's line 401 subsection K, which says you're in a profit sharing relationship with your company. So what can you do with that profit sharing income? Now, there's a lot of things you can do, but Wall Street, your financial planner, HR, these people aren't necessarily all educated in what you can do in real estate with your retirement account. But absolutely, you can invest in real estate with your retirement account. You just need to learn. So what if you want to pay for your education and get the tax write-off for this training and use your retirement account? How would that work? Let's talk about that. Right now, and you got to check with your plan, but most plans will allow for a loan of 50% up to $50,000. The interest rate is going to be 5%, and you're going to have to pay yourself back over 5 years. That's pretty powerful. That money is sitting in your retirement account you could be using to forward your life. If you leave it over in the stock market world, who knows what it could turn into tomorrow, right? Who knows? People are losing their retirement accounts in the stock market every day. It's so risky. So why not transition into real estate? We got the training in the essentials on how to do retirement accounts. So let's take a look at that. If you were to go borrow, let's say, I'll give you an example. I had a student who will protect the innocent here, and we'll say his name is Mark. And he had $60,000 in his 401k. Now, according to those rules of borrowing, he's allowed to borrow $30,000 from himself. Now, he does have to pay that back. You do have to pay that back at 5% over 5 years. So a $30,000 loan from yourself is roughly about a $500 a month payment. So he used the $20,000 to pay for the education, and then the remaining $10,000, here's what he did. Understanding and thinking critically about the flow of money, he realized he could set aside that $10,000 and make $2,500 a month payments. So he bought himself over a year and a half cushion to where he could take the training, watch the classes, and it doesn't affect his lifestyle. From the money in to money out, his expenses, his income and outgo, it doesn't change because he's been able to set aside and structure it this way. If you think about it, that $10,000 is just moving from this pocket to this pocket. You're just paying yourself to use your own money. Think critically about where your money is flowing. So maybe this will work for you. You know, it could actually work if you partner with someone else. Okay? Here's something I want to point out that people don't think about enough. Think about this. Your success is majorly dependent. Your success is dependent upon your willingness, this is the key, your willingness to have, guess what? Uncomfortable conversation. You got to be able to have uncomfortable conversations. At least the willingness to have those conversations. If you're not willing to have an uncomfortable conversation, you're not going to get rich. You're not going to hit the financial goals. You're not going to get the time freedom you want. You have to have at least a willingness to have uncomfortable conversations. Now, it doesn't always turn out to be uncomfortable, but if you're willing to go ask who has money to partner with you to go do a deal, would you be willing to go ask your grandma or your mom or your cousin or your brother or a coworker or even your employer or your neighbor? Would you be willing to go have those uncomfortable conversations? I'm asking you because your success is dependent upon it. If you're not willing to ask, here's what we know. Closed mouths don't get fed. So you've got to be willing to have those conversations. So that's what I did with retirement accounts. I didn't have my own, so I started having conversations and asking questions. Started asking things like, what rate of return are you earning, and what would you like to get, and would you be willing to partner with me and lend me that money, and I'll pay you that interest rate you're looking for because I'm starting a real estate business that's going to do this and this and this. And I showed him the training. I showed him what Renatus had to offer, and I said, this practically guarantees my success. I just need some funding to get started. So I was willing to have those uncomfortable conversations, and I found the money to get started. You need that same willingness. Now, you might use some of your own retirement accounts. You might partner with somebody's. When it gets into multiple retirement accounts and doing different things, it will be time to talk to a specialist, someone specialized in retirement accounts, and talk to your custodian. But there's a lot of options. If 401k or retirement accounts is an option for you, get back with who sent you this video and start masterminding on that. But in a general sense, 50% is what I want you to remember, up to $50,000 for 5 years at 5%. Okay, if you're just going to borrow the $20,000, your payment will be around $370 a month. Now, there are some people who borrow all $50,000. And what they'll do is they'll pay off a car and buy their education, and then they'll take the money they were paying for their car going to the bank, and they'll put that money back in their retirement account. They're thinking critically about the money flowing. So again, what's in your retirement account? Are you using it to your advantage, or is it just kind of sitting there at risk of being lost? So, number 2 idea for you is retirement accounts. Now, here's another idea. Number 3 is going to be a HELOC. Now, in the prior training, we talked about lines of credit. A HELOC is a home equity line of credit. Now, you could easily use these. Let's say you want to put $20,000 on your HELOC, and let's say your HELOC is at 5% interest. Okay, maybe a little more, maybe a little bit less. For example, if you go put a $20,000 charge on your HELOC, or it could even be someone else's HELOC, your grandma's, your brother's, your mom's. Remember, again, you're going to have to make those partnership conversations. You got to learn how to talk to people about money. So you put $20,000 charge at 5% interest. Okay, so what does that cost? What is the monthly debt service? The monthly debt service for your HELOC. Let's take a look at it. 20,000 times 5% equals $1,000. Now, to get our monthly, simply divide by 12 is going to equal $84. So to service $20,000 debt on a HELOC is only $84 a month. So what if you're using someone else's HELOC? You say, hey, I'll pay your HELOC $84 a month, and I'll give you an additional $84 a month. I need to learn this stuff, and I would like to use your resources. Let's create a partnership, put it in writing, but now you can use someone else's resources to make a deal happen. All right? Here's a principle you have to understand. At the end of the day, there's only, in a deal, time, knowledge, money, and credibility. Okay, and it's usually split down the middle. There are people out in the world that have the time and the knowledge, and there are people out in the world who have money and credibility. Which one are you? If you don't have any money, then you got to be willing to put in that time and the knowledge and then you're going to go partner with someone else's money or credit. So both sides have to be in the deal, and you have to have those conversations. You have to be willing to create some value using your time and knowledge. You got to be able to create the value for those money people. So you say, hey, you got that money sitting right there. What would you like to earn? What would you like to get? What would you like to partner with? How would you like to do this? I have knowledge and time. You got money. Let's do this. If you're unwilling to have those conversations, your success is not likely. You have to have those conversations. Okay, so another idea for funding. Fourth idea, number 4, is going to be life insurance. Okay, there are some incredible wealth capture accounts that will aid in your velocity banking, that will aid in your savings plans, that will aid in your life protection, your legacy, your trust. Everything is going to be life insurance plans. Now, if you don't have life insurance, I got a guy. There's plenty of people who are trained, but there's a specific way to go about building a cash value banking life insurance policy. Okay? To use this strategy to fund your education, term doesn't work. You're either going to need something that's referred to as whole or universal, or what's also known as permanent. Permanent life insurance will allow you to borrow the cash value. So let's say someone had $30,000 in their cash value for their life insurance policy. What they could do is, let's say they borrow 25 grand. What's cool is you could borrow the cash value from yourself. You don't have to pay yourself a fee. It's there. It's usable. It's incredible. There are a few people who you got to talk to your life insurance agent and make sure you could do this, but most have already had this designed into their plan, and you could do this. So you borrow this money, you use $20,000 for your education. Then what I've seen people do is, let's say this remaining $5,000, they have $1,000 on a credit costing them, $300, $400, $500 a month. What they'll do is they'll take this money, pay off their credit card, take this money, put it back into their life insurance cash value. Instead of paying the credit card company, they're now refunding their life insurance plan. So again, we want people to be thinking critically about where their money's flowing. But this is another great way to fund it. If you don't have it, that's fine. Start those conversations. Hey, how much money are you getting paid on your cash value? And what would you like to get? I'm starting a business. I have some ideas. Let's create a process. Let's use this paperwork. Let's get on the phone with an attorney. Let's document everything. But this is the beginning of you starting a business. If you're not willing to go and raise 20 grand to start this, how on earth are you going to do a deal that takes 200,000 or 2 million? Now the good news is the skill set for raising 20 grand is the same for 200 grand as for 2 million. So by practicing this now, it's going to set you up for a very solid career moving down the line. Now the last idea is going to be our billing, our in-house billing. This is our in-house billing. Now this is a phenomenal program that the CEO offers for all of our students. It's a guaranteed funding, but there is one caveat. You do have to put some money in the game. So our in-house billing. This is a fantastic opportunity. So we'll switch back to the PowerPoint, but our in-house billing, I have a quick chart for you to just break this down. Our in-house billing allows you to put money down, and then you could start making monthly payments. So on the Extreme Plus combo, it's a $4,000 down payment. Now some of you might have 8 grand in your 401k or 5 grand in your life insurance cash value. You could pull that out, put that down as your down payment, and then it's as easy as $438 a month. There's no interest rate attached, which is a mega value, and $438 a month is pretty easy to handle. Now, some of you who are like, whoa, I don't know if I could do $438. Well, something to consider is also turning off your cable, turning off satellite TV, okay, because you're not going to be watching that stuff. Poor people have big TVs. Rich people have big libraries. So some of those things you could kind of turn off and start funding your business, start funding your education with that money. Now, some of you will be having some pretty big tax refunds, so there are different ways for you to get your money that way. Here's one other thing to be thinking about. And again, you are going to have to consult your own accountant or your CPA. This is not legal or tax advice. This is just something I did. It worked great for me. So I had a job at Jiffy Lube. My W-2 job was going to pay me $22,000 gross for the year, which meant I was going to net around $14,000 for the year. Taxes, insurances, workman's comp, all these other things being taken out. So there's a difference of about $8,000 for taxes and insurance. And again, I'm oversimplifying, but I just want to show you, again, something to think critically about. So at my job, this is what I was dealing with, okay? So what I decided to do was I went back to my employer and I got a new W-4 form. And I adjusted my dependents. I changed my dependents and I raised them so that I could have this money on my paycheck instead of waiting. Think about this. Right now, if you decide to move forward with Renatus, you're going to have a $24,994 tax write-off. So something to be thinking about. If you have a $25,000 tax write-off and an $8,000 tax bill, what do you think is going to happen to that bill? It'll disappear. So for me, instead of waiting all year to the end of the year, do my taxes, give them my write-off, and then get a nice big refund, instead of waiting a year for a refund, what I did was by changing my dependents, by raising my dependents, I actually got an extra $400 a month on my paycheck because I adjusted my dependents. Now I took that $400 a month and started running my business with that extra money. And then when it came time to do the taxes, I give them my write-off, tax bill goes away. And so this is something to be thinking about. If you raise your dependents, you get more money on your paycheck, and then you can use that to then pay for things inside your business. This is not for vacations. This is not for clothes or even paying your utility bills and things like that. Okay, this is for moving forward, growing a new business, because this money you either have to pay in taxes or use for business. That's it. So think about that. Someone who's earning 22 grand is already looking at a tax bill like that. So if some of you are watching this video are earning $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year as a W-2, so you're paying $25,000 in taxes. So why not make this switch? Why not make these changes so that you can keep your money and start building your wealth instead of having your money confiscated every single year? So something to be thinking about. Go to irs.gov. There's a little table and a little chart where you can move around your dependents. It'll tell you how much will be left over on your check based off of your income. And then you can make your own decision at that point. Do you want the money now so you can start making payments on your education? You can start making payments on your business, paying for your LLC, paying for your business cards, paying for marketing. It's your money. You decide. Would you really give someone a 0% interest loan for 12 months, aka give the government the money and then wait a year for your refund? That's the same thing as giving them a 0% interest loan. You wouldn't do that, so stop it. Okay. All right. Last idea. Going back to the PowerPoint, last idea is a service that has been very helpful for tons and tons of our students. It is a program called GetFundedOnline.com. Now, it's a third-party program, and what they'll do is they'll do a funding assessment. They work with over 100 banks, and what they'll be able to do is give you a funding assessment through each of those banks without hurting your credit, without costing you anything. It's totally free. Now, once they find your funding, there'll be a fee attached to that, but as far as finding out what's available to you and how long it'll take you to get that money, it's totally free. So I recommend you go to GetFundedOnline.com, take their free assessment, see where you're at with your credit report, see where you're at with your score. Did you know that there are a lot of discrepancies that show up, and it's your responsibility to make sure that your report is accurate? So get a hold of your report, hand it over to Get Funded Online, get your assessment done, see what's available to you. And there's some quick, easy to follow training videos at Get Funded Online. And so right now you're looking at all these options: cash or credit, 401ks, HELOCs, Our billing, get funded online, a combination thereof. I've seen some people use all combination to get involved with their real estate business and get started with Renatus. So whatever combination thereof, maybe you're gonna borrow some from a cousin and an aunt. Maybe you got your own money. At the end of the day, when you go to create a partnership, someone's got the money and you got the time and knowledge. Don't ask for the money. No. We don't ask. We offer. Hey, I'm offering you a place to put your money where my knowledge and time will help it grow. Okay? You're not asking for money. You're offering a position for them to grow their money. So just that kind of mindset thing when you're going and starting these conversations is huge. You're not asking. You're offering. Okay? So as we get into that, just remember your life is in your control. Now, everyone needs a little bit of help along the way. Everyone knows I need some help, and I'm so grateful for the Renatus opportunity, the support, the people, the training, the spreadsheets, the programs, the network. There's so much being offered here, and if it wasn't for that, I don't know where I'd be. So I'm incredibly grateful for that. Now, as far as you and what your next steps are, there's 3 easy steps. Okay, somewhere on the screen here, down below, there's going to be a link. So your next 3 steps are: 1, set up your account. Get involved with Renatus. You're going to set up a password and security questions. Now, you're not going to have access to everything because step 2 means find your funding. Where's that funding coming from? Are you going to use your 401k? Are you going to use the in-house billing? Remember, if you pay in full, you get that $5,000 one-time cash discount. And so if there's other ways for you to pay in full, then great. Let's figure out your funding. That'll be step 2. And then once we find that funding, step 3 will be unlock your education, and then you can start on phase 1, going through your essentials. So that's what it is. Get your account set up now, find your funding, unlock your education. This is exciting stuff, guys. You got to bring this energy to your life. Follow those 8 steps we gave you at the beginning of the video on how to get your business started powerfully, and we'll see you on our next videos. Click on that link now, and we'll get you started.